let's go take a look at my tomatoes because they are wild. This is what we are going to take care of today. Yeah, they desperately need to be pruned, which I have already done at least once. And then they all really need some stabilization. So that's what we're going to do today. And actually, it's kind of a perfect day for it. It's only like 65 degrees. So hanging out in the hoop house shouldn't be too horrendous. I think probably pruning first. Yeah, pruning first, and then I will put the stakes in. And I'm going to try doing, so last year I had a cattle panel attached to these, but having the tomatoes on both sides and both on a single cattle panel just really didn't work. It was too much for that cattle panel. It was impossible to see the tomatoes. So I'm gonna try and do 2 separate runs this year, and I'm gonna do the Florida weave, which I will explain when I do that. But first we do need to get these things pruned up. I actually have already done a second prune job on some of the ones down at that end, so I'll kind of show you what those look like. But I need to go get arm protectors because the tomato, whatever secretion things that they have, make my arms itch like crazy. So I'm gonna go get gloves and arm protectors, and then we'll get started. So you can kind of see here that I have pruned off a lot of the branches and suckers from this guy here. But look, I do have a tomato already coming on, which is exciting, which means that these poor peppers here have a little bit of breathing room. I could probably get rid of this guy here. Although once I put the trellising up, this should take care of that problem. And like this guy here, although I might pull this one off too. And then these guys I did as well, although it kind of looks like I could do a little bit more. These, however, are my Ace 55, which are a determinate variety, which means I don't want to trim off the suckers. I just want to trim off any of the like really big leaves that we don't need. But then here you can see on this side a little bit, it's not horrible here. These are my poor peppers that are being smothered by tomato leaves. And then this side is even worse. It's just crazy. I mean, there's basil under here and under there, which you can't hardly see at all. So yeah, these guys really need some work. I also have to make a decision on all of these seedlings. I am actually headed out of town for a week. These are all of the extra tomatoes and peppers. I had great intentions of just offering them to people. Maybe, you know what? I'm going to go bring them to the gate, and I'm going to bring them up to the front of the house, and I'm going to do it. I'm just going to do it. Okay. So I'm going to go bring these to the gate right now. Okay. These kind of need to be cleaned, but it's not going to happen today. Any of you have this issue with tomatoes? Tomatoes and sunflowers, cucumbers, anything that have the little hairs on the plants, they just kill my skin. And I will be scratching for hours. So it's just better to protect them. So I did this yarrow plant right here was, I don't know, 5 feet tall, and it was starting to fall over. So I did cut it all back. I'm going to clean it up a little bit more, get rid of all this kind of old growth, but look, it's already flushing back new growth. At some point I am going to need to dig this out of here. Probably should do it sooner than later, but I just don't want to mess with it right now, other than to cut it back. So let's do that first. And the other reason that I want to get this done is I have yet to put my drip tape, replace it in here. So I just want to get it. And right now I couldn't see to do it. So if I get all this stuff pruned up, I should be able to replace all that stuff. There's a long one I missed. Okay. So these tomatoes are the Bush Roma. Oh, so actually that's why these are smaller. This is also an indeterminate, so I don't want to cut the suckers off of these guys either, but I can get all of these lower leaves out of here so it has a little breathing room. I also do have aphids. I thought I had gotten rid of them all, but I found a whole bunch on my peppers yesterday, and it looks like there's a little bit of them here as well. So I need to get these guys sprayed, which having all of this extra foliage gone will help with that as well. Okay, the glasses are not helping. One of you commented that every time I put down my sunglasses, you're like, oh, she's gonna lose them. I haven't yet. I lose things like this and my hori knife all the time when I set them down. Literally, I set them down, I know exactly where they are, I turn around and they're just gone. It's magic. And we don't have a lot of, because it's so dry here and we don't have humidity issues most of the time. Oh, I've got a bunch of tomatoes back here too. Oh, can you see them? I don't know if you can see them. You see the guys right here? Yay! So much earlier than last year. Anyway, what I was saying is, you know, a lot of people are concerned about disease, and dampness breeds disease pretty badly. But since that's not a huge concern for me, it's mostly just to keep them somewhat manageable and give a little bit of airflow. You can see how many flowers are setting on these too, which is wonderful. What is that? Isn't that interesting? I think it's a tomato flower that like did something weird. It is. Huh. All right, these poor peppers are gonna be so much happier. So much happier. You know what, I'm gonna go ahead and cut that one. I know a lot of people show this, other people in this niche, other homesteaders, but I wanted to just kind of show you what I mean by suckers versus leaves. So this is a prime example right here. You can see this is the leaf that's coming out right here, and then out of it is growing this sucker, which will produce flowers and fruit if I leave it to go. In fact, I am going to leave that one, but I don't need this leaf, so I'm going to pull that one, this sucker down here. I'm not sure if you can see that one really well, but this little guy, I am going to pinch him off. And this one down here, I'm also going to cut off. Oh, this purple basil is amazing. It needs to be cut down. It smells amazing though. Let's see. Get that guy out of here. These two. So you can kind of see here that, let's see, let's move this guy out of the way here. Yeah, so you can see this was the main stem right here. This was probably would have been the main one if I had clipped this sucker back when it was little, but I am gonna let it go. So I let this one go and I'm letting this one go. So basically it will have 3 main branches that will produce fruit. And I'm okay with that. But I am gonna get a couple more leaves out of here. Now the fun thing about suckers is, let's see. I think I'm gonna cut this guy off. You can take this guy and put it in water. You can see there are little blossoms starting. You can put this in water, it will grow roots, you can plant it, and it will become an entirely new tomato plant, if you want it. All right, this tomato is my orange ox heart. Look how big these blossoms are. They are monstrous, and these tomatoes are supposed to get quite large. But you can see these guys all over here as well. So it is just covered. Okay, I think I am going to mow all of this basil down as well. I'm not sure if I'm going to try and process it, probably not. But this will all grow back. There's plenty of time to do multiple more harvests of this. And the great thing about basil is you can just pretty much chop it down all the way to the ground and it will come back. Anyway, so this is just what I'm going to do all the way down the line. This is also a sucker down here that's coming from the base, which I don't want. I actually have 4 main stems on this guy, which is plenty. Oh, this already has a tomato on it, so I guess I'm going to leave that one. Well, that looks about 1,000 times better. I still could probably cut off a couple of these guys. However, I did cut off a couple of really big shoots. I'm tempted to put them in water and see if I can grow 2 more tomato plants that I don't need. That's silly. I'm not going to do it. They're going in the compost pile. It is very difficult to cut off those big, huge shoots with all of those flowers on them. I didn't cut off anything that actually had tomatoes on it though, because that I just couldn't do. But I think now let's get our drip tubing in, or drip tape in, so that is done. I think especially for my peppers that they are actually getting overwatered. So maybe I already said that. So I want to definitely get the tape done in the pepper bed. But now that I have all the tomatoes up, it should be fairly easy. And I mowed down all of the basil. It should be fairly easy to get this done. So I just need to go get the bits and bobs to do that. All right, so I only have about 30 minutes left, which is not going to be enough time to do all the drip tape. So instead, I'm going to do my Florida weave. So I just pounded in these T-posts, and now I'm going to make use of the ridiculous amounts of baling twine that I have, and that's what we're going to use to make our Florida weave. This isn't even a half of it. This is what happens when you have animals that eat hay. So I literally am just going to tie these together. No, we're not playing. Tie these together in big, huge, long strands and use that for my string. It's nice and sturdy. I'm going to sit on my very comfortable seat listening to my fountain while I do it. And Petunia's going to help. I suppose I should kind of figure out how much I need. I believe those beds are about 15 feet total length. So, and I probably want to do, I could probably easily do 3 levels already because these tomato plants are so big. Excuse me. $16, $17, $18, $19. All right, let's call it, well, here. All right, let's call it 20 yards, which is how many feet? 60 feet. And I said that's about 15. No, I said, yeah, 15. So that would do, and I have to do 2 rows of it. So this would do 1 row. Is that right? 15, 30, 45. So actually 1.5, or one whole row and the bottom rung of the 3rd. Of course, I grabbed the wrong end. But this is precisely why we're going to wrap these on sticks. Okay. Yay! So, Florida weave is fairly simple. Basically, you tie one piece of a rope at one end, and then you go back and forth between the plants and the posts. Oh, that's where I was going to put the second set of posts. I thought I had gotten too many, but now I see that I had one more place I wanted to put posts, so let me do that first. These 2 just won't be as tall, but that's okay. Since these plants are already pretty dang tall, I clearly never finished this thought, like ever. So I thought I would explain what I was trying to say is the plants are large, so I'm going to be starting higher up than I would if I'd done this when they were much smaller. And then the other thing I don't think I really explain is that after I get down to the other end, I move the string up a couple of inches and go back around each bush so that basically the row of plants is supported on both sides. Well, you can see how difficult this would have been with all of that foliage there. And you want to be able to pull it pretty darn tight. It's hard enough even when you do have the foliage all trimmed up. Goodness gracious. Highly recommend doing this before the plants get this big. Ay, ay, ay. Okay. So, I'm gonna pull it tight, wrap it around a couple of times. And then do whatever I did down at the other end, which was, I can't remember. I don't think this was it, but that's okay. We'll do it anyway. Nope, that was not it. This was it. And then I'm just going to, because these aren't quite tall enough, but the guys down there are, I'm just going to pull this down with a little bit of slack in it. All right, we are going to finish this tonight. I have got all of my trellising up. It's mostly sufficient. Actually, this one needs to go this way. Actually, I probably really need to run a whole nother line across this way. Oh my goodness. Well, I will have to run another several lines, probably all the way to the top, because at least, well, these actually shouldn't get too much bigger, but all of those and those on that side and those on that side will get quite large. So we will need to continue going up, but I will just add more string as I need to. So now let us do the drip tape. The first thing I'm going to do is put enders on all of these. And all these is just these little flat thingy-mabobbers here. And you bend your drip tape like this and slide it in like that until it kind of comes out the other end a bit, maybe. I think I have a emitter in the middle of this, so it's not coming out, but you can kind of see it's sticking out a little bit. So just going to do that on all of the ends first. So that is done. Then at this end, I guess let's put all of the things that allow me to plug it into the headers on these ends, which are just these little guys here. So that pokes into the header pipe. And these just slip in here like so. And then you just screw this piece down on top of it and shouldn't come off. I was gonna cut them all and then attach them, but I think I'm just gonna go ahead and attach them first. So what my plan is these dividers here between the beds. I'm going to cut. That bird just landed on top of the hoop house. Scared me. So I'm going to cut the drip tube and just put a spacer, one of these guys, in between so it can kind of sit on top of that part of the beds and not like have a drip piece right there, an emitter right there. So that is the plan, but I think it's better for me to attach them to the headers first so I know exactly where I want to cut them. So this is my least favorite part. All right, so got my things laid out here, and you can see the old tubing here and here, and I don't want to pull it out of here because it will probably leak if I tried to do that and put a different, like try to insert this into that hole. So I would rather just cut the old tube off and then use one of these little pluggy guys to plug that old tube right there. I think you can kind of see. So yeah, this little guy's now plugged up. And then we're just going to poke another hole in the header tube. Oh, daddy long legs. Go on. Go on. I don't want to kill you, but I don't want you here. Come on. Go away. Thank you. I really don't like spiders. I don't want them to die, but I really don't like them. And then I'm just going to poke this guy in here like so. And we want to make sure that the emitter holes are pointing up. And that is so that if you get any kind of residue in your tubing, when the water comes up, this puffs all up full of water, and any residue would sit on the bottom and the water would still get forced out the top. So that is why you want to do it that way. My watermelon is actually suddenly doing really well. Look at that. Goodness. That guy away. Look at that one. Not to put in a cool watermelon. Okay. Missy May, not helpful. Can you please get out? Thank you. All right. Now we can do our connections in the middles. Basically, all we're going to do, start with this die, is measure where it will hit the bed. And this one actually isn't too bad because the last emitter one is here, and I'm going to cut it right here. So that will be perfect. And then just like the connectors, these just kind of slide on here. And slide on here. And these just twist over the top of them. Preferably making sure everything's still up. And then that is just going to go right there. Same thing. This is the closest emitter to, and I'm going to cut it right here. So that will be perfect. Where did my other? No. In this case, the emitter is going to hit right here in the middle. So I'm going to actually cut this emitter out entirely. And there we go. Down here that are too long, I have these two pots that right now I have to hand water, and this, well, I need to hook this one in first, but this one has two emitters, one here, that are going to water this for me now. So that is perfect. Hopefully it doesn't like go flying up when step a little bit here. There we go. Yeah, that'll work. All right, I'm just gonna finish the last three, and then I'm gonna be done until I get back and I have all of the other projects that still need to be done. But that will be when I get back from my trip. All right, last of the drip posts. I've got them all done. Yay! Finally. I do want to test these, so actually I will do that before I spray for aphids. So we make sure we don't have anything that's gonna like blow out and be spraying water everywhere for the week that I'm gone. So let me go turn this on and cross our fingers. Did we see any massive explosions? No, but I do see dripping. And you can see, drippity drip drip. Yay! And over here as well. And back there in the middle. Oh, fantastic, fantastic. Yes. I actually want these dripping on my peppers here. We can avoid it. There we go. I'll just leave that one where it is. Yay! Drippy, drippy, drip. Perfect. Oh, and let's see. Yes, we are dribbling here as well. Perfect. And here. No, where are you dribbling at? Are you dribbling? Yes, you are. Okay. Oh, it's just dripping down here because it's tilted down. That's fine. All of these are doing what they're supposed to do. All of these. Yay! And nothing exploded. Amazing. So all I have left to do, I want to spray for aphids on my peppers over here. Actually, let me show you what they're looking like, poor little things. It's odd because these are just dirty, but these guys are all, no, there are little aphids in there. You see them in there, little white things? And this one has got them pretty bad. This one has it terribly. That one. So I just need to spray them. Mom's gonna spray them while I'm gone as well. I'm just using a horticulture oil in water. So hopefully that takes care of them. I did have them on the side with the tomatoes as well, and I had been spraying them, and I think I'm not really seeing any. I'm going to spray them again just as preventative, just to make sure that these ones over here don't jump across the aisle again. But otherwise, like, all my tomatoes look fine, and it's just mostly these peppers that are on this side. So I'm going to do that, and then last but not least, end of June, both the last 2 years I have gardened here, at the end of June, we have gotten multiple days of below freezing temperatures. Thankfully, this time it is not forecast to be below freezing. Right now, the lowest is supposed to get is 36. However, that's still pretty chilly, and my squash in particular, I'm a little concerned about. So everything in here, I will be fine. I will close up the side over here and the door, so it will be fine. But my squash are all outside. So I'm just going to cut a bunch of squares of frost fabric and like just drape them over them. And Mom will come take them off after because it's not tonight, it's tomorrow night that it's supposed to do that, Sunday night. So I just want to make sure they're going to be okay. Most of my potatoes, my pumpkins are still pretty small, so it shouldn't be that big of a deal to get them covered up. I am thrilled with everything that we got done here today. Getting all the trellising done and the pruning and all of the drip tape in. Awesome. I still have to do drip tape in about half of the beds, but we'll get there. They're doing fine for right now, so I'm not all that concerned about it. And yeah, actually, when I get back, it will be the end of June, and we will do a June garden tour. So looking forward to it. See you guys soon. Bye. And we just had a blowout. So yeah, this is why we test things. All right, I need to go turn that off and fix that.